Hey y'all, let's talk about the command panel. This is the command panel right here. This is the area where we do a lot of the modifications. This is always showing up on the side. We've already pulled it over so we can see more than one layer. So what this is this has 6 different tabs at the top, and I'm going to explain these tabs really briefly just to get you to understand what we're looking for. But you need to remember the command panel is the king. This is where we go to everything, or the queen, whichever one you want to look at it. This is where everything is going to happen, and you're usually going to have this up over here on the side. Especially for this class. So this is the create panel. The first panel or first tab in here is the create tab, and it has the options to create geometry like we've seen the basic stuff, and you can drop down and look at different ones, or we can make splines, which is the non 3D stuff, or we can do lighting, we can do cameras, we can do some tools to help us figure things out. They're called helpers. Then we have space warps, and then we have systems. All really cool. I'm not going to get into everything in this class because there's just a lot of stuff we do need and a lot of stuff we don't need. And as a game developer, we don't always have to get into all these little pieces, but some of the things will come in handy. All right, the next one over is where we're going to spend on most of our time when we're working in 3D. After you make the 3D object, this is where you change it. This is where you do all the kind of crazy stuff that we're going to do. And this is the real reason I think I described why we split this over into 2 tabs. I think I said, funny story, that the 2 tabs actually crashed Max for the 2018 when it came out. So it took a while to get that fixed, but they fixed it, and now we can drag it out. Anyway, so this is where you're going to make all the modifications. I actually do some shortcuts up here, which I'll show you when we get to that point. That's actually probably the next lesson. We'll do these shortcuts. But anyway, this is where you make all your modifications of anything you make. Over here is the hierarchy, and we talked a little bit about in class last week the pivot point of the object. In our class, this is generally what we're going to use it for. To change our pivot point, we can move it around and stuff like that. But there are some other options, IK for linking things together, and then some more detailed stuff like that. But the hierarchy is a cool area, and we do jump in here quite a bit. Motion. For this class, we're not going to move into motion very much, but this is where a lot of the nitpicky or the detail-oriented stuff inside of here happens. It's not where you actually animate usually, but it is where you do a lot of the control stuff. And there's some scripting and stuff you can do in here. And then display. This is, I don't pop in this menu. I do it usually through my shortcuts on my right-click menu, which are just the default ones. I don't really change those much. But this is where you can change a bunch of little options in here. You can turn off a whole category of things so they're hidden. These are all hiding things. Or we can say show them all at one place, or we can freeze them. And we'll get into those details in a little bit too. And then finally is utilities. And the utilities is an area where they do a lot of random things that people have scripted out and pretty cool, like Flight Studio and stuff like that. But for our purposes, really, I could cut this down to 2 or 3 buttons. Usually reset X form is the king. Or the queen again. This is where we'll get into what this is later in class, but this is something we're going to need. And then I also like resource collector, but utilities has some really cool, and if you open this up here, you'll see there's a bunch of different options that are cool. Polygon counter and stuff like that. All right, that's it for now. This is the command panel, and we'll talk to you a little bit later.